What's going on, It's Crazy Raccoon. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel, considering I've been going for 2 months. But that doesn't matter. Today we're about to react to 2 stories from My Story Animated. You guys are cool down and download that. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so the first video is about this quote-unquote magic ring that can get this person whatever they want. I find it to be quite bullshit, but let's just watch.
Hi, my name is Roxy, and you might be wondering why I'm lying on the floor of the biggest hotel in Texas, the Clarion Hotel. I'm not unconscious, but I want them to believe I am. Before I tell you why, like and subscribe for more dramatic stories. You see, my mom died from a strange illness when I was just 13. The only thing she left was a tiny apartment in Texas and her ginger cat Moose. I had never met my dad. He never loved us. That's why he left. At least, that's what my mom said. So when she died, it was just me and Moose. As tragic as it sounds, we were okay. The landlady, Mrs. Poppins, let us stay for free, but I had to leave as soon as I turned 18. I had no intention of burdening her further, so I turned to the restaurant across the street for food. My big brown puppy eyes had worked on Jim the waiter, and he would pack some food for me and Moose. Jim was in college and needed the job to pay for tuition fees. He was kind and sweet, and I vowed that one day I would repay him. But wait, before I go on, I have a huge announcement to make. Storytime Animated is doing a massive giveaway for our awesome viewers. This week, once I turned 16, Jim formally introduced me to the manager, and I began cleaning the floors in exchange for food. The manager liked the deal since he didn't have to pay me. 2 years passed and my life remained pretty much the same. But one day, everything came crashing down like a pile of cards. I had taken an afternoon nap on the couch with Moose when my alarm went off. Half awake, I sat up and checked the time. It was 6:30. OMG! I yelled, waking Moose up. I was already 30 minutes late for my shift. I nearly knocked over the table in a hurry to leave. My mind raced as I hurried off to cross the street. Oh no, why did I sleep? I'll be in so much trouble. Just when I was about to cross, an old lady with hair as white as snow asked me to help her cross. I noticed that her cane was very shiny and pretty. It almost looked like gold. Even though I was late, I couldn't say no. I agreed and held on to her left hand. All the cars stopped when we started crossing. She, on the other hand, took strides as small as a toddler's, and I could swear we took 10 minutes to cross the street. She didn't let go of my hand after we had crossed. In fact, her grip became firmer. That's when she placed something in my hand. It was a ring, plain and silver, just like the ones they sold at Walmart.
Ring.
My child, you have a kind heart. Let me repay you for helping me today.
She paused to take a deep breath.
Take this ring and get married to whoever you want.
I stared at the ring for a couple of seconds, and when I looked up, she was gone. The restaurant was a few meters away. I put on the ring and ran in through the back door. The manager was there, waiting for me with a stern look. Behind him was Jim. He looked very subdued.
Why are you late?
The manager snapped. My eyes welled up.
Do you know what time it is?
The yelling reminded me so much of my mom. She had always been stern with me.
I've been so nice to you. Is this how you repay me? Get out and never come back.
I looked up to see Jim mouth, "I'm sorry" to me, even if he tried.
Okay, that's some straight up bullshit. When you're late one day, 30 minutes late, probably even 40 for crossing the woman across the street, and you're fired. Bro, throw up the hands right now. Shit.
Wasn't much he could do. He was only a waiter. I went back home and cried myself to sleep. My life was over. I had no job, no way to get food, and my 18th birthday was approaching, so I'd be homeless too. No, this is not how my story goes. And just like that, something snapped in me. I'd do whatever it takes to be rich and successful. So I got up early the next morning to look for work. That's when I saw the sign written in bold. Cleaning ladies needed at the Clarion Hotel. I wasted no time and walked as fast as I could. When I reached the entrance, I found a line that seemed to go on forever. I wasn't the only one in need of a job. At the end of the day, I got the job among 10 others. It was a big hotel after all. Finally, the sky didn't seem as dark anymore. 2 weeks after I began working, I heard rumors from Janet the gardener that the CEO's son, Jake, was in town. She went on and on about how handsome he was.
Can you imagine marrying him?
Her words echoed in my head. If I married him, I wouldn't have to suffer anymore. I would live like a queen.
Digger
But what would make a guy like him look at a girl like me? My clothes were too plain, and I had no money to buy better ones. I looked like the cleaner I was. Suddenly, I remembered the old lady's ring. I had gotten so used to it that I barely noticed it anymore. Could it be what I needed? When I woke up the next
Sell the
day,
ring, get
I
some
did
money?
what I had
Yeah.
never done before. Makeup. Well, that's if lipstick counts. It was my mother's, and I had been saving it for a special occasion. One look in the mirror and I was set. Sure, there wasn't much difference, but I looked prettier. I walked to work, and just when I was about to get the cleaning supplies, a car pulled up. It was the latest Mercedes in matte black. I had never seen one of those before. The driver stepped out to open the back door, and a young man came out. He was wearing a navy blue suit and black sunglasses. He looked more like a movie star than the son of a CEO.
He looked like a grade A douchebag.
Oh, I almost drooled at the sight of him. That's when I realized he was walking towards me. I froze and did the first thing that came into my head. I fell and fainted. So there I was, lying on the floor, unconscious.
Ooh.
I heard footsteps around me and the sweet smell of cologne. My prince had come to take me. I peeked through my eye and saw that it was him. He looked even better up close.
Is she okay?
I could only make out the silhouette of a man next to him. I am now, I replied in my head, trying hard not to smile.
Make sure she's all right.
He was leaving. I had to act quick. I jolted up and grabbed his hand before he left. Wait! Suddenly, he turned like he was seeing me for the first time. And before I could say anything, he got on one knee. I pinched myself
What?
because how was this happening? Just then, I saw the ring glow. It had turned from silver to gold. I was beside myself when Jake announced that I was now his fiancé.
What
I went
the-
to his office with him, and he poured me a cup of coffee. Right before he
What? All I hear from this is straight up bullshit. This is bullshit. Straight up horse manure. Bruh. Type of weird voodoo shit.
excused himself.
What?
He had a few matters to attend to. Word got out quickly, and before I could finish my first ever cappuccino, there was a loud knock on the door. I put my coffee down and opened it. At the other side of the door stood a blonde woman in the highest heels I've ever seen. Her makeup was fully done, and her dress looked like it came from the little girls section. Before I could take her in, I was met with a hot slap that sent me stumbling back. For a few seconds, all I saw were stars.
How dare you try and steal my boyfriend?
Of course he had a girlfriend. Why didn't I think of that? But she was too late. I had already won the war. I'm sorry. Who are you again? I asked, feigning ignorance. I wasn't going to let anyone take this from me.
I'm his girlfriend.
Was his girlfriend. Honey, I'm his fiancé, and if you don't leave on your own, I'll have to call security. She couldn't tell, but I was trembling inside. The slap had caught me off guard, but I was a good actress. All those hours I had spent watching soap operas with Mom were paying off. In a fit of rage, she turned and left. Had she stayed any longer, she might have seen through my brave facade. Jake could do better than that. Maybe I had done him a favor after all. After a few days, Jake bought me the latest iPhone and a mansion with an indoor pool. I was over the moon. But soon enough, the excitement wore out. I had everything I had ever wanted, but I wasn't happy. I felt sorry for lying to him, but I promised myself to make up for it by being a good wife to him. And maybe we would grow to truly love each other.
Wait, what about the promise that you made to what's his name? I forgot his name whatnot, but you promised like pay him back because he fed you, gave you free food whatnot. He even got you your first job whatnot. What about my guy?
Jake called in that evening and asked me to get dressed. He said he would send an evening dress my way and pick me up in an hour's time. True to his word, the dress came 30 minutes after the call. It was a long black Louis Vuitton dress with a bare back, similar to the ones worn on the red carpet. If someone had flashed the dress before me a month ago, I would probably have traded it for a kidney. But now I dreaded looking at it. This wasn't right. I made up my mind to come clean during dinner. Only then would I have peace. I took a quick bath, put on the dress, and put my hair in a bun. My breath caught when I looked in the mirror. I looked just like my mom. Luckily, Jake arrived just in time and I held back the tears that were threatening to fall. We drove for 10 minutes, and not surprisingly, we stopped at the Clarion Hotel. It was the best, after all. The hotel had been decorated in purple and pink balloons. I had a feeling it was Jake's doing. That only made me feel more guilty. Our table was set next to the window, and the view from the 3rd floor was breathtaking. As soon as we sat down, I turned to face him. Jake, I have to tell you something. Before I could continue, I was interrupted by a strange man. I had seen him on the way in, and he just kept staring at me.
Maggie, is that you?
The closer he came, the more uncomfortable I felt. Why had he called me my mom's name? Jake turned his head and smiled acknowledgingly.
Hey, Dad, this is Roxy, the girl I told you about. Roxy, do you know anyone called Margaret?
Why are you asking about my mother? Who are...
Oh my god. Don't tell me what I think is about to happen next. Don't tell me that old geezer is her father, and then her fiance is her. Oh my god. Incest to the whole next level. Oh my god.
Who are you? My voice trembled under my breath.
I'm Ray, and I think I'm your father.
Hey yo, what the fuck? No!
Then shattered like glass. No.
No!
There was no stopping the tears from falling. I have no father. I yelled as I ran out. I had to leave immediately. I could barely see. My eyes were stinging with tears.
Roxy, wait!
Ray ran after me.
Let me explain myself.
I shrugged, giving him the go-ahead. We spent the next hour on the pavement as I listened to his side of the story. Mom had never told him of my existence. They had split up before I was born. It hurt that Mom had lied about him, but a big part of me was relieved that I hadn't been abandoned. He continued telling me how shocked he was when he'd seen me. He thought I was my mother. I told him what happened to her, and we hugged it out. Ray talked about how he moved overseas after the breakup, and that's where he adopted Jake the same year. When I looked into his eyes, I knew he was telling the truth. They were the same chocolate brown as mine. We really were family. So Jake is my half-brother now, huh? I said awkwardly.
I guess so.
He replied, scratching his head. Don't worry, Dad. Sir, it's nothing. I reassured him. I took off the ring, and just like that, the spell was broken.
You can call me Dad, if you want.
Okay, Dad, I replied as we hugged once more. The ring hadn't brought me Prince Charming, but it had brought me my dad, and for me, that was enough.
Bro, what type of horse manure was this? What? Oh my god. So this so-on magic ring didn't get her a man, but it brought her with her father, whatnot. If this dude didn't show her, then she would have been married to her half-brother. And I am just confused with now. Let's just go to the next video. Okay, so the second and last video is called I Can Get Any Guy to Marry Me. I don't know how or whatnot. Rather it's a he, she, they, it. I don't know. All we know is that they can get any guy to marry them. So let's watch this video.
What is that?
It's a miniature wedding dress. I'm going to put it on my Barbie.
You're 13 years old and you still play with Barbie dolls? That doesn't look like a dress. It looks like tissue paper arranged in a strange way.
Damn.
Now, students, this is no way to speak to Evelyn during our sewing class. Your dress is very beautiful, dear. In fact, I think it's magical. Now don't you worry about what the others are saying.
Bro,
You are
is he country?
talented.
She shot the other students a mean look, then continued smiling at me, but it was unfortunate that she couldn't come to my rescue after school because at that time, more of my classmates followed me and asked me to show the dress to them so they could laugh. I was so upset that when I got home, I threw it in the bushes in my garden and marched up to my room. This dress would eventually change my life, and if you want to find out how, you have to keep watching.
No shit.
What's wrong, darling?
Nothing, I said and slammed the door in my mom's face. I regretted that, of course, because she was upset with me for the rest of the day. It really wasn't my day. A few months passed and I stopped being creative at school because I didn't want to be teased. Things were going smoothly and people started to treat me like I was a normal kid. Then one Saturday, I spent the entire day inside watching TV, and my dad told me to go outside.
For some sunshine and fresh air. You can't spend your life indoors when we have such perfect weather here.
Ugh, fine, Dad. I went outside and walked around the garden. Then I noticed a cute squirrel with something in its mouth.
He's what, 13, whatnot? Parents, listen. Kids, step out of the room. Parents, look at me. Come closer. Closer. Not that close, because these niggas can see my ugly ass face. Zoom back out a little bit. Okay, parents, they're teenagers. You can't tell them to do shit for real.
Hey, buddy, what you got there? I dropped the thing and ran up a tree. I picked the thing up and gasped. It was my miniature wedding dress. Surprisingly, it still looked the same way it did when I threw it into the bushes. What was that squirrel doing with it? I looked at it and smiled. It really wasn't bad at all. My classmates were probably just being mean for no reason. I took the dress inside and put it on my dressing table. Then I went back to watch TV. When I went back to my room to get ready for bed that night, I looked at my dressing table and screamed. My doll was standing on it, wearing the dress.
What the?
My mom ran to my room to see what was wrong. Mom, did you put the dress on the doll?
No, wow, that's a pretty dress. Did you make it?
Yes.
It's lovely. Well, don't worry. Maybe your little brother just decided to play a prank. Or maybe he likes dolls now. What the fuck? Who knows?
She rolled her eyes and left the room. Later I asked him, but he insisted that he had nothing to do with it. I thought he was still lying. I tried not to think about it too much until the next day. When I woke up, it was the first thing I saw, and I went over to pick it up. I turned the doll round and round and thought that the dress looked quite pretty. Then I noticed something strange. A little piece of paper was sticking out from the bottom. I pulled it out and realized that it was a note. I opened it, and it read, "This is a magical wedding dress. Write the name of the person you want to marry and stick it on me."
What? What the fuck?
Could my...
What? Bro, again with the voodoo shit. What? Write your name on a piece of paper and... I'm about done with that. I can't tell if these are fake stories or are they real. It just seems so
Either be playing
fake.
another prank? But he couldn't write that well yet. I decided to give it a shot anyway. I wrote Chad's name and stuck it on the dress. Then I hid the doll under my bed. The next day, I went to school and forgot about everything that happened the day before. In the middle of Spanish class, our teacher walked out of the class to go to the bathroom, and Chad walked up to me looking a bit nervous.
Would you have lunch with me today?
Okay. The other girls in my class looked confused. Chad was the cutest guy at our school, and he only hung out with the really popular kids.
Oh my god, don't tell me this is about to turn into one of these whack-ass love stories. What, not pretty boy Chad as what's her name for lunch. Like, don't be jealous. Don't be jealous, it's lunch.
Anyway, lunch was awesome, and Chad asked me to be his girlfriend. I said yes, of course,
yeah, sure,
even though we
lunch is
hadn't taken much time to get to know each other. But we were 13, and that's how things work when you're that age. It only hit me while I was walking home from school that afternoon. Oh my gosh, the dress! It really works. So, long story short, Chad and I stayed together until our 3rd year in high school. He was head over heels for me. But eventually I got bored with him, and I wanted a new adventure. I had my eyes on the lab technician at school.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew he was a bit older than I was. He just left college that year. But I decided it was...
FBI, open up! Just like college. Oh my god. Oh my god, somebody get the FBI on this girl. Oh my god.
Worth a try. I wrote his name under my magic wedding dress and waited to see what would happen. I wondered whether I had just been hallucinating as a child or if I got lucky or something. But if I could make this gorgeous guy fall for me, it meant that my dress was definitely magical. Would you believe that not even 5 minutes passed when I noticed that someone new added me on Snapchat?
Hey, beautiful. I know you from school, but I'm not a student. I just wanted you to know that I think you're the most amazing human being I've ever encountered in my life.
What?
I replied
How did this guy even
instantly,
get her
and I felt
information?
amazing. I didn't have to do any work to make anyone fall for me.
What the f-
After a few weeks of avoiding him, but using his obsession to feel better about myself, I decided to try to date the school heartbreaker. His name was Michael,
Wait.
and next to the lab tech, he was the second most gorgeous guy at our school.
Oh my
He was around
god,
my
this
age,
is
so I guess
becoming a
that was
whack
safer,
ass
right?
love story.
Michael was a womanizing jerk, though. And because he knew he could get any girl he wanted, he'd date someone for a while, then move on to the next. I wanted to teach him a lesson and maybe break his heart too. So I wrote his name under my wedding dress and waited. At school the next day, Michael came up to me at lunchtime.
Evelyn, will you marry me?
What? I nearly choked on my sandwich.
Oops, that's not what I meant to say. Would you like to go out with me this Saturday?
I'm sort of busy, but ask me again next week, okay? He walked away looking defeated. It felt so good. After I was done torturing him, I did go out with him for a few months, and everyone was shocked that he was so faithful.
Oh my god.
He didn't make moves on any other girls, and all he could talk about was me.
Hey, I was thinking maybe we could apply to the same colleges so we wouldn't have to be apart from each other.
He said to me one day. That made me cringe a bit. Michael, I don't think this is working out, and I don't think I want to go to college.
What?
Ooh.
So there, I did it. I broke his heart. You're probably wondering why I said I didn't want to go to college. Well,
You
if I
lied?
had the power to marry anyone I wanted, I figured I could just get some celebrity to marry me, and I wouldn't have to do anything. Just
What?
sit around a mansion all day, bossing the servants around. Sounds great, huh? My parents didn't accept the news that easily, though.
Not going to college? So what are you going to do for the rest of your life?
Oh, you'll see. They were upset with me, but I didn't care. I had work to do. Which celebrity would I choose? I spent nights just Googling cute guys and trying to decide which one I'd be most compatible with. I settled on the hottest rapper in existence. And I won't mention his name, for privacy reasons, of course.
For
I wrote his
privacy
name
reasons?
under
Stop the cap.
Oh,
address,
this
added him on
definitely bullshit.
Instagram, and started sending him messages, but I got no reply. After a few days, I was about to throw a fit, because what if the magic had worn off? I really didn't want to go to college. I was in my room, about to start crying, when I heard a scream downstairs. I ran down to see what was wrong. The door was open and my mom was pointing at someone outside. I walked closer, and my jaw dropped. It was him.
Hey, darling. I realized you sent me a few messages, but I wanted to reply to them in person.
What the f- What the f- Straight up cat!
Would you like to go out with me tonight? I booked a fancy restaurant in Italy.
Italy? But how will we get there?
I have a private jet, unless you don't want to go. We could do something else. I just want to get to know you better, baby.
My parents were speechless and my little brother looked like he was going to faint. I could barely contain my excitement, but I had to pretend that I was calm for the sake of my new future husband. In case you're wondering what it's like dating a celebrity, it's amazing at first. You get to go to all kinds of expensive places, they buy you lots of stuff, you get to meet other famous people, and you don't have to do much work. I was really enjoying it at first, but then I became sad because he didn't pay much attention to me. It wasn't because he wasn't obsessed with me, it's just that he was always so busy. A few years passed and we did get married because, like I told you, there was no way I was going to college. Michael and the lab tech were heartbroken when they heard about our marriage because apparently writing a new guy's name under the dress didn't stop the previous ones from obsessing over me. But I was still sad because my husband had no time for me. And as time went by, I developed a crush on Stanley. his assistant. Stanley was
Oh,
always
God.
cracking jokes and asking me if I was okay. I couldn't stop thinking about him because he really made me happy. And one day, as I was about to write his name under the dress, I decided that I wanted him to fall in love with me naturally. I kept sending him little
Oh my
hints,
God.
and then eventually we had a conversation about it.
But you're married to my boss, Evelyn. Yes, I do have feelings for you, but think about how complicated that would be.
I have an idea. I told my husband that I needed help to start a fashion business in another state. He was very supportive and gave me all the money I needed to start. I had lots of customers too, because I was a celebrity's wife. Stanley quit his job and came to live with me. We are together now, and my husband has no idea. Whenever he comes to visit, I just ask Stanley to go somewhere or hide or whatever. So things did work out for me anyway. I'm rich and I'm with the love of my life. And it doesn't have to be like this forever, because if I decided I wanted to marry into the royal family tomorrow, I could. Isn't that cool? Not controlling at all.
Okay, so what's the type of words I'm thinking of? Manipulative? I can't even pronounce that word right. Manipulating, whore, scammer. I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems fake, seems real, but it ain't no way in hell you marry a damn celebrity. I'm sorry, I can't believe that shit. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to scratch that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment down your favorite part of this video. And comment down some other videos you want me to react to. And don't forget to turn on notifications. So yeah, I'm done with this. I'm back. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.